Everyone's favorite topic, logging, this time on Practical Exploitation. Welcome to Practical Exploitation, the breakdown on breaking in. I'm your host, Rob Fuller, but you can call me Movix. Today we're going to be talking about logging. Now, there's a lot of types of different logging. There's Windows event logs, all kinds of different things, but I'm talking about offensive logging, like making sure that you have the records and information so that if you get accused of anything, or if anything goes wrong during a pen test or assessment, that you have detailed notes on everything that you did and can actually repeat it or be able to show each step, every typo along the way. So there's a lot of different types of logging, like I said, but one of the ones that I'm going to delve into today is like script logging, console logging. What we're not going to go into is any of the, suggesting that you use something like Zeek or Bro or the renamed Zeek to log your traffic is a good idea. I'm not going to get into that today because I don't have the network set up for it right yet, but I could later if you want. And there's also screenshotting. I'll talk about just my favorite kinds of screenshotting tools. There's a million and one out there, so let me know in the comments below which one's your favorite, because I'd really like to know new and new different technologies that are out there, because I've been using this one forever. So we're going to dive into just script logging. And where I got this idea was from the website Context or Contextus. I apologize if I'm saying this wrong. I'll show you in a second. But it's a really good blog post called Logging Like a Lumberjack. All right, let's get into it. All right, so Logging Like a Lumberjack is a great blog post. It goes into why you want to do it, recreating what you can do, contractual requirements to it, the thought process behind it. It's really, really great detailed blog post. I reference it all the time. I think it was made back in, October 2017. So a while ago. Awesome job, Damian King, for putting this together. But let's get into some of the details of it. So the first bit I actually really like. So if you can look right now, my console, my PS1, looks like root at Parrot. It doesn't really give me any context on when I'm running a command, what date it is. It gives me the user, but it doesn't give me a timestamp or anything. And so what he's done is he's really given a awesome set of PS1 details. I'm going to just copy his in here. And add it to my bash RC. So you can see that I have a couple other things in here. Let's just add it at the bottom. And if you look right here, he's actually running ifconfig eth0 and just getting that IP address. So IP adder is the newer way of doing it. eth0, I can't specify that. Oh man, there was a way to do it with brief. I forget. Let's just Google it for right now. IP adder just IP. Because yeah, I have to Google things too. People are using ifconfig. Hostname-i. That's a great way of doing it. Let's do hostname-i. That doesn't give me the right one. Okay. IP-4 adder. Let's see. IP-4 adder show eth0. Good enough. And then we can use their grep to get it. Let's see if this works out. Nice. So that's a good way of doing it. I like that. We're going to copy that in, and we're going to move out this. Oh, I think I removed too much. Let's see. Let's go back to his, oops, those are the things we're going to talk about later. Let's go back to the one I copied. Cut. Yeah, the F1 he actually removes too. So that should be good. Alright, let's try that. Exit. And I know I can do this other ways. So you can see that that didn't work so well. Let's try that one more time. I'm sure I'm missing something, but you get the point. You can play with this a little bit. What am I mistaking? Line. Syntax error. Expected token. Anyways, let's just remove the IP address stuff for right now. Oh, yeah, I'm missing the end of it. I'm not. Anyways. Alright, let's just add the IP address. Remove the IP address stuff for right now. Hopefully we just get a date. I'm sure, there we go. So, good enough for right now. I've got a date. I've got where I'm at. I'll add the IP address stuff later. Anyways, so getting back to it, chronicling with script, he talks about using script, and I'll talk about that in a second. You can see the IP address for him in here. It works just well. Screen and Metasploit. And he goes into other different types of logging with PuTTY and stuff, so you should definitely read this blog post. What I was taught really early on in my pentest career was to use screen and script. It was drilled into my head, screen and script, screen and script, screen and script. And the reason you use screen is because you can easily get into a console, and if you lose connection to that console because your internet went out or you know, a million other things, that session doesn't go away. And the cool thing about screen is it's multi-user, so someone else can log into it and see what's happening, and even what they do on there, you get logs because you're going to do script. So what script does, if you haven't seen it, it's awesome. It's built into almost every Linux I've ever been on. Is it logs everything to an output. So I'm going to just do script-a, and this was actually suggested by, and you can't see that, this was suggested by Egypt because he said he sometimes overwrites his old things, and I have been a victim of the same. So script-a, and then so append only, and then opt logs. Do I have a logs directory? No. Make dir. Ooh. Now I have a. Let's just fix that. Opt logs. Make dir opt logs. All right. Now I'm gonna do a script logs. Whatever I'm doing. Demo for pe.log. So you can see that if I do an ls, find lots of details. If I go into, if I open a new tab, so I don't go over this, exit out of that, and I go into opt logs, I can see that my demo has a bunch of details. So if I do less on that, one of the things I want you to see is that it looks like it's a binary file. If I say yes, you can see that every escape and backspace actually shows up in here. So with less, you can actually do a dash R, so it doesn't show, it displays control characters. So you'll remove some of that, and so if you need a screenshot, but this doesn't work so well, and I'll talk about how to filter that out in a second. But anyways, getting back to my log, it doesn't stop until I exit. Now this is useful, you can do it when you need to, but I forget to sometimes. Like, honestly, I need something that I don't have to think about as much. And so where that comes in is some other things we're going to talk about in a second. like automation. So Screen has a built-in logging feature, and I have this easy to-do script right here. Now, if I do nano.screen.rc, well, let me show you beforehand. So Screen, you get this pop-up saying here's the version, and now it looks like another console session. The cool thing is you can actually edit it to make it look nicer with a screen.rc file. And this is my screen.rc file that I like because it turns logs on, it flushes the logs every 5 lines or so, it adds a log timestamp, and it says default logging on. So if I do a screen session, I call it Bob or whatever, you can now see that it has the list of windows available, it has my date and time, it has a few things about the system. I can actually make Control A C to make a new window, and you can see at the bottom that I have two different windows. Now if I exit out of both of these, when I go into opt logs, you can see that I now have a screen session log. So this is just like script. You'll get all the control characters and everything else, but I have automatic logging and date timestamps of when this happened, which is awesome. So if I have date timestamps and script logging automatically turned on, I just have to remember to go into a screen session to start my logging. And honestly, I like this the best out of all of the options, but I am starting to love Tmux. And again, Egypt's turned me on to Tmux. Tmux is great because it's almost on every one. I don't even have to create a screen.rc to get this cool bottom window. It does use a different control character, so it's Control B instead of Control A, which is not a big deal. But I like Tmux. The only thing that is problematic with it is that you don't have the same default logging ability in Tmux, unless you use some of the plugins. So let's go to TPM and install this plugin manager. So you can see right here, you clone it to that directory. So Tmux plugins, it goes there. And then you add a Tmux conf. So this is what you need to do. nano.tmux.conf. Add that here. So it adds those. And then for logging, you have to use the Tmux module or the plugin for logging. It kind of sucks that you have to go through all this. And here's how to do it, blah, blah, blah. Where's the installation? So what you want to do is just this line right here. So after all that, you add that. Oh, sorry. It goes up top. So you have to add it into the plugins. So there's the logging. And then my first time going into Tmux after this, I have to hit Control B uppercase I. So B uppercase I. That didn't work. B I. There we go. Control I. Okay. I don't know why it shows an uppercase I here. That's misleading. Okay, so now I've enabled logging, but I haven't run it yet. So logging, Control Shift P, Control B, Shift P. Now Control B, P. There we go. Oh, fantastic! This is not working. Oh, I had to do something with the TPM again. I forgot about this. So when you first do the installation of the plugins, I forgot to do something. Yeah, Tmux source. There we go. Control B, I. Yeah, it's still not doing it. Oh, there we go. Control B, Shift P. There we go, logging. As you can see down here, started logging to there. Whew, that was annoying. Okay, so all I had to do was tmux source this to reload it, and it worked. So if I go, there's my log here. Now, with this plugin, you can do a lot of different configurations. You can do a screen capture, you can do complete history, you can set different settings to keep it there. But this is where I actually learned about ANSI filter. So ANSI filter is actually only available on GitLab, and you have to compile it yourself. But it's really cool in the fact that if I exit out of here, op logs, those are my 2 screen sessions. Let's do the demo. So cat demo has that thing, right? So if I go into ANSI filter, I already have it copied, and you make install, and I go back into my op logs. If I need to have it so that someone can read this on a normal text editor without having all the control characters, I can do ANSI filter in demo out demo dot text. So if I less demo dot text, you can see that it looks way better than all of the messed up logging that I had. Now, I only had controlled characters at the top because I stopped after this find, but ANSI filter is hands down one of the coolest tools that I've seen or have found recently about logging. That's in Script and tmux, which are awesome tools, but what if you wanted to log everything you did, period? Like, anyone logging in at all, you want to log everything. Now, this is actually pretty well documented on a bunch of different places. I actually like it a little better than the script and tmux, or the screen and tmux logging, just because if I forget to go into tmux, or if I forget to go into screen, or tmux or screen, then I still have all of this data. The only problem is that you need a little bit of setup to get it working the way you want to, especially if you're going to use this as a defensive tool. So if I needed to use this as a defender to log everything that ever happens on this box, even without the history file, I can use this Etsy profile. So let's go into that. Now we have screen and script and tmux set up. I'm going to do nano because I like nano, and you can, and I'm on screen and you're not. You can use Vi if you want. I don't care. So Etsy profile. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at this really cool blog post about this. So I think I already had it set up. If not, let's just open it real quick. How to automatically record the terminal sessions activities of all users and log in it. Now, he goes into this var log session, and it has all the details. It's actually really cool. One tweak to this. So this is where I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste this in. So I have var log session. So var log, there's no session folder right now. What I did for this is when I make dir session, I'm then going to use a chmod. It's actually probably pretty low on the screen. Let me get up here. So var log session. So I've already made this directory. I'm going to chmod it to 3775. And what that does is it adds, so read, write, execute for everyone. Oh, from, yeah, basically for everyone. There. Where is it? Huh. I thought it would be read, write, execute. Or read, write, everyone. anyways, so 3775. I think I might have to fix that, but that's the notes I had. Anyways, I'll figure it out in a second if it's right or not. So what more important is the sticky bit, and this is not a sticky bit in setUID or setGID. This is a sticky bit saying that only really the owner gets to delete files, and this was important to me, and I'll show you why. So let's nano Etsy profile again. Let's go down here, and I'm right before this gets created, I'm going to umask 027. And 027 is actually a really secure default, and 022 is not, because it makes world writable for everything that you make. Usually the directory kind of is the security boundary, but in Linux, 027 is actually a more strict umask or file creation. All right, so now I got to log out to get back in. So that is sudo, so var log session. Let's see, and there's my session. Now it has 2 files, which is actually pretty cool. There we go, read, write, and read. So only root can read this, only the group can read it. One thing to note, let's open a terminal here. Oop. Okay. So that's actually really important to show, because it's failing to create the terminal, and that's because where is the button? It's running as login shell and it's failing. So if I do a new terminal now, it's not going to create the session. Because this is not a login terminal, and that's one of the things for GUI terminals that you have to be careful on. And the reason it's failing when it is, I'm going to turn that back, is because it can't write into that directory. So if I umask, or not umask, if I chmod 3777, that directory, that should be able to know it. So open new terminal. Now it can create the new terminal. If I go to var log sessions, it has my session, and only I can delete it. So rm-rf star, yep, cool. So one of the downfalls to having, and the reason I did this, because when you create a directory that anybody can write to, anybody can delete from it too. And that's one of the big differences between Windows and Linux, is that Linux doesn't have, without ACLs, without advanced ACLs, it doesn't have a direct delete option. If you can write, you can delete. So that's why I set it up so that it has that sticky bit on there that makes it so that only owners can delete those files. Now I have those logs. What's cool about those logs, oops, let's get rid of that, is that just like script, this actually has a timing option. So it's actually running script, if you noticed. Profile. It's actually running script with the T option. So I can do a script replay of session user dot timing, and then session user, and you can see that this shows the timing of everything I typed, which I don't think I typed much, or it took me a long time to type something starting. I had sudo after I actually had a conversation. All right, so let's do something. Let's do the root one so you can actually see this. Root timing session root. See, there's my typing. So if you need to show exactly what you did, this is the better way of doing it. You can start script with the timing option yourself if you want to, but I really like that this is available as just everyone logging in. Now, yes, can someone get around this? Absolutely. You can actually create a loop. So if you screen a script replay on top of yourself, so let's do that. Open terminal. So that's new screen session. Var log sessions. There's my new one. So 823. If I do script replay, timing session user, timing session user. So this will actually create an infinite loop where it will continue to write to the timing in script session, and then it will then show it again, all of the output, and continually write back and forth. So you can create an infinite loop here, which is sort of like not a fork bomb, but just kind of cool feature of it. Anyways, I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, whatever. So that's all that we have for script and logging. Like I said, there's a ton of other things that you can do for logging, but this is console logging, and that's it. Let me know what you think. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, or whatever the buttons are that you can see. I really had fun with logging. I know that it's not the most popular topic to talk about, but I think that with all of the options out there and the really awesome blog post by Context, that you can do a better job at covering your CYA, and if you just do a few extra things, a few configuration things, or change it in your Ansible script or make it so that it's always there, it can go a long way to save what you've done and get the output from it. Sometimes if you run a new piece of code or a new tool, that code, like the history goes over, or the console scrollback doesn't go far enough. I've had too many instances where I ran something cool and it had a lot of output, or I needed to get that output into a different thing and I didn't tee it. Oh, that's another option. Pipe things to tee, and you get the logging to your screen as well as to a file. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, head over to patreon.com/Moobix. Every dollar, cent, penny, $50 or whatever helps a ton to make these videos come out much sooner. I apologize again for not going as fast as some of the other shows on Hack5, but I'm trying to ramp that up. I've had lots of technical issues. If you've tuned into the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/MUB1X, you obviously know that I've had many issues with audio and lighting and all kinds of things. But my name's Moobix, and I'll be hacking until the cows come home. Take it easy.
Thanks for supporting Hack5. Find all our shows, community, and Pentest products at hack5.org.